Hello and namaste. Welcome to Ayurveda Mentor. In this video, I will discuss about autoimmune disorders or autoimmunity. These are chronic, progressive, and degenerative disorders, and Ayurveda can play a big role in their treatment and management. And this is the first video in the series of videos about autoimmune disorders or autoimmunity. As you can see, there are three names of autoimmune disorders. First one is autoimmunity. We also call it autoimmune response or triggering of the autoimmune response. And third, we commonly know as autoimmune disorders or autoimmune disease. Autoimmune disorder, it is not the name of a single disorder. Actually, this is a group of disorders. It is a category in itself where there is autoimmunity or autoimmune response. Currently, there are more than 80 disorders that are categorized in this group, and it is affecting around 5 to 7% of the population all over the world. To understand the nature of the autoimmune disorder, we have to know more about three words. What are these three words? These are auto, immunity, and disorder. So we will go into more detail about it. If you see the immunity, this has become very popular word, particularly in the COVID-19 time. Immunity is simply our defense mechanism. It protects us from outside microbial infections, from allergens. So if you see, immunity is a very good thing. It is a blessing. It is a protective mechanism of our body. But when it becomes auto, you have to pay special attention to this word auto. So when our immune response, it is triggered against ourselves, it is triggered against some specific part of our body, then we call it autoimmunity. So what does autoimmunity signify? It simply means that our immune system starts to do self-harm. It starts to harm some of our body part, and that is the root cause of this disease. So when you consider autoimmune disorder, you have to know that immune response is triggered against oneself, against some part of our body, and then we call it autoimmune disorder or disease. I am giving you two examples that will help you to understand the general nature of autoimmune disorders in a very common way. Like you are a family, you are a household, and you have bring a pet animal in your family, consider it dog or some other animal, then it develops a very friendly bond with all of you and it helps to protect you. But somehow what happens that the pet animal, it becomes hostile for one of the family member because of some conflict, some confusion, or some misidentity. So it becomes hostile and it starts to harm that person. Then you can consider the earlier condition with the normal state of the autoimmunity, and the second condition when the pet becomes hostile with the autoimmune disorder. In the second example, you can consider your body as a small community, as a small town, or as a country, and you have employed some guard, some security person or defense force. So what is their duty? Their duty is to protect you. But the problem happens when these guards, these try to hurt, try to harass some of the community persons, some of the households, then it all becomes very disturbed. So this is the condition that you can relate with autoimmune response. In our body, we have employed our immune system to protect us, but when there is some misinformation, misidentity, or conflict, then that immune response, it starts to hurt some of my body parts, some of my organ, then we call it autoimmune response. So now you understand that autoimmune disorder is simply the triggering of the autoimmune response. Then we call it autoimmune response. So the autoimmune response is against some of the specific body part. So you have to understand it. This triggering is not for all over the body. The symptoms can be present all over the body because of the inflammation, but the triggering is against a specific part and it can vary in different disorders. You take the example of multiple sclerosis. Nervous system is affected there, so you have symptoms based upon the affected part as well. If you consider celiac disease, small intestine is affected, so you have symptoms based upon affected organ. In ulcerative colitis, colon or large intestine is affected and you have symptoms based upon that. In rheumatoid arthritis, connective tissue and joints are affected, so symptoms are based upon that. In psoriasis, mostly skin is affected and sometimes joints are affected, so symptoms are based upon that. So these symptoms, they will vary, the name of the disorder, it will vary, but the underlying response, underlying pathogenesis in all of these disorders is same. It is the triggering of the autoimmune response. Thousands of medical doctors and researchers are trying to explain, trying to understand the exact cause of the autoimmunity or autoimmune disorder. But there is no clear-cut understanding. Their exact cause is not understood. Multiple theories have been put forward that try to explain some aspect of the autoimmune disorder, but nothing is having global consensus. And Ayurveda is also having some insight and some theory how autoimmunity is developed in our body. I will explain that in a separate video. If you ask me about the pathogenesis of the autoimmune disorder, how the disorder is progressing, how it is affecting different tissues and organs, and what are the symptoms and signs, and how these are developed inside our body, this is very well understood in the modern medicine or simply called medicine. But I have written here deliberately somewhat understood because if you ask why this pathology, why this pathogenesis is there, there is no clear-cut answer about that. Multiple theories have been put forward. That's why pathogenesis is very much clear, but what is the cause of that pathogenesis, it is not understood properly. There is one underlying nature of all the autoimmune disorders, and you have to understand it very, very clearly. All the autoimmune disorders, these are chronic, progressive, and degenerative in nature. What does it mean? Chronic means long standing. These are running for long time, sometimes years and sometimes throughout the life. So sometimes you can feel there are a lot of symptoms, there is aggravation of the condition. Sometimes you feel little symptoms and sometimes for months and years you are not having any symptoms. So autoimmune response, it can be inside our body with a dormant state, in a dormant state, but it can be triggered after some of the circumstances, some of the factors. So chronic means long standing. The second aspect is progressive nature. Progressive means if you are not treating it, managing it properly, the condition can become worse over period of time. So there is one aspect, it is the intensity of the symptoms. How much intense are your symptoms? How much aggravated is the condition or inflammation? The second aspect is duration of that problem. So in progressive conditions, the intensity of the disease, the symptoms or the inflammation, it becomes more and more. And gradually the duration of the symptoms, it is also lasting for long time. So this is meant by the progressive. Third one is degenerative changes. So you consider it like it, there is a baseline, it is health. When you are having like one attack or one aggravation of the autoimmune disorder, it is coming down after some time, then baseline, your health, the symptoms are just above the baseline. There is some sort of disturbance in our body, some sort of degenerative changes because of this condition. So the goal of Ayurvedic treatment and management is to keep your condition as close to the baseline, normal healthy condition as much it is possible. So when we are not taking care adequately, the degenerative changes, the difference from normal healthy condition or baseline and your residual condition, it is increasing more and more, and we are having lot more degenerative changes. And degenerative changes also means loss of function of that particular organ over a period of time. As we consider autoimmune disorders to be a group or category of disorders where the underlying mechanism is triggering of the autoimmune response, so you can expect a wide variety of symptoms. These symptoms are general, some symptoms are specific. So if you see the symptoms, some of the symptoms are because of the general inflammation like pain, rise in temperature, redness, swelling, loss of weight. These are some general symptoms found in all the autoimmune disorders. Then there are symptoms of specific inflammatory changes. The particular part that is affected by the inflammatory response, that is also causing some sort of loss of functioning and some sort of symptoms, and these are very specific and are limited to the particular part. So in ulcerative colitis, you will find there are ulcers there is bleeding, there is pain, there is urge to pass the stool. So these are there. In Crohn's disorder, the underlying mechanism is somewhat similar, but as the place is changed now, it is small intestine, the symptoms are somewhat different. There are ulcer, there is severe pain in abdomen, there is more tendency for the strictures. In rheumatoid arthritis, there is pain and swelling and loss of mobility in the joints. So you see the symptoms always depend upon general inflammatory changes as well as upon which part is affected in which of the disorder. I told you that there will be a series of videos on autoimmune disorders. So I asked you to watch the entire series and you will get a broader perspective of modern medicine, other approaches that are used in particular disorder. And at the same time, we will cover the Ayurvedic treatment and holistic management in a very detailed way about some of the autoimmune disorders. I believe that this video provided you good information about general nature of autoimmunity or autoimmune disorders. If you have some specific query about autoimmune disorders, do write in the comments. I will reply it personally. And if you want to start with their Ayurvedic treatment and holistic management, I welcome you. You can contact me and you will start on the path of natural healing and cure utilizing Ayurveda and yoga. Finally, thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Adopt Ayurveda and yoga in your daily life. Have better health and greater happiness now and always. Thank you. Namaste.